Hello, hello. Welcome to All Around Music Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Grant.
And today in the studio, we have a special guest, Jennifer Stanley.
Hey. How's it going?
You're all quiet. Hey.
Hi.
A little shy today. A little shy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. All we do is talk. We just talk about music. So Jennifer is a very talented vocalist, and we haven't really had just a vocalist on the show. I guess I should reword that. When did you start singing?
I remember starting to sing for real around like 10 years old.
10 years?
I would kind of watch Disney movies and musicals and reenact them and just ruin my mom's life from day to day with constant singing. And it kind of just took off from there.
What was your favorite Disney movie as a child?
Definitely Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast?
Yes. Still makes me tear up from now and then.
Is it because of the songs that were in the...
Yeah, I mean, the songs, even as a kid, got me in my feels. I really liked the characters and the story, and all around pretty good movie.
Terrible movie. Lion King was better, so...
I mean, the whole Mufasa thing threw me off.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know, that opening sequence, Lion King, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just think about it. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they really, cinematically, they
basically, could you imagine that as humans, some dude's like, look at my child! It's new! I made this!
I feel like there's a lot of memes about that in normal life. They just kind of took it to a different level.
And there's just some crazy music in the background.
Drums.
Yeah. A lot of drums.
Yeah.
A lot of drums.
Yeah. For sure.
Aladdin also is better.
I disagree with that.
I don't know. They're doing the live action Beauty and the Beast.
The only reason I'm going to watch that is actually because of Emma Watson.
Yeah?
Yeah. Big Harry Potter fan.
You think they'll keep the musical side to it, or?
I hope so.
They kind of have to, don't they?
I mean, they can't really revamp it completely or it's not Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
I mean, has she ever done anything like that musically that you know of?
I don't believe so. She was in kind of like a B-rated, like a B-made movie on Netflix. I forget what it was called, but it was like Renaissance based. That's the most out of her comfort zone she's been, aside from, potions and Harry Potter.
Being around magic and
witchcraft and wizardry.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So growing up, you watched a lot of the Disney movies, and that's what really got you into singing, like you said. As you got older, was there anything else that kind of influenced that a little more?
As a kid, I was really involved in church, actually. So going and being a part of that throughout the week, I would see a lot of people on the praise team. And as a kid, I used to always try to match their vocals as adults and try to prove that I could go up there and sing with them because I really wanted to. So that kept a lot of my interest. But obviously, you had to be a certain age. So just kind of kept me going for a while, kept trying.
Yeah, kind of as a kid, you don't really have any fears of, stage fright or anything. You kind of just go up there and you're like, I don't care. I'm going to sing as loud as I can.
Yeah, what's weird is, a lot of people ask if I have stage fright, and I've never had it. I just always get really excited before I go up. And then when you're on stage, whether you're singing or playing or acting, and you see the energy from the audience, that's really what kind of takes it to a different level.
Right.
So it's not really nerves. It's just kind of excitement to be able to share with other people through what you want to say.
Okay. It's good to know.
Yeah.
So after you saw the choir in the church and you wanted to just to sing like them, where did it go from there for singing?
That was back when cassettes were still a thing. So I used to go to the Dollar Tree and buy 5 cassettes for $1 and put it in my little boombox. And I used to start doing my own radio shows and then singing in between and doing my own commercials. I'm not sure what influenced that, but I started doing that for a while. And then I would start going to church more and more at the same place. And I realized that after you'd been a member for 4 to 6 months, you could do specials on Sundays, no matter how old you were. And so I started going to the Family Christian Bookstore, and I would get instrumentals. I'd buy instrumentals with my allowance and go sing at church. And then when they saw that I was really dedicated and into that, they actually asked me to be a part of the praise team when I was like maybe 15.
And that was the actual choir for the church?
Yeah, the praise team. And so I played guitar a little and sang a little for that.
I didn't know you played a little guitar.
Yeah, play a little piano too.
Oh.
Little keys.
So did they teach you how to play the guitar and the piano, or is that something you just picked up on your own?
Actually, my grandpa knew that I was really interested in guitar, and a really good friend of his, Larry, from work, offered to give me guitar lessons for like $20 a month. Every Wednesday, yeah. And I did that for 3 or 4 years, and so when I picked up my Telecaster, the guy who was on the praise team that ran the praise team guitar-wise, he actually started teaching me some power chords and bar chords and kind of just took it from there. So
do you play guitar at all anymore, or you just kind of dad?
I don't have a guitar right now, but yeah, I mean, I could pick one up and play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did the church ever have you do any of your own, like, do you go up there and stand alone and sing by yourself? Yeah,
that's what the specials were on Sundays. You would bring your instrumental track, and they would give you the mic, and you could go up and do solos. There was a song called Alabaster Box, and that actually became, like, I guess if you were thinking in bar terms, you would call it a crowd favorite at church. Mm-hmm. It's kind of just what everybody likes for you to sing. And it's kind of like a respect thing where when they realize you connect with a certain song, no one else will do it just out of respect for you, because that's your connection between you and God in that moment and stuff. So that was really cool. And so it kind of gave me some time to figure out my range and just mess around with different things, because the cool thing about church is really, as long as you're being yourself and your heart's right, you're not really being judged by people. So it gives you a really good platform to kind of experiment with your voice. Okay. So, I mean, while I'm not really involved in church anymore, I'm grateful for that, because that was a really good opportunity for music also. Right. And good people.
You learn a lot.
Right. Yeah. Good, talented people there.
So when you were in high school, did you take any choir or anything?
Yeah. Actually, Mrs. Kincannon at McCutcheon, she was probably the best teacher out of all of them, and she did choir. And I took choir. It was probably my favorite class, aside from drama. And that, of course, I went from being homeschooled my whole life to being thrown into public school freshman year. And everybody knows you make your friends in middle school. So everybody kind of already knew who their friends were but me. So choir was kind of like all I had for that whole year, because I could identify with people in that class. Everybody was there to sing. Of course, they were the few people that were just there because they thought it was easy. Little did they know that the final had music reading on it, and it was really hard.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, high school was really cool, and I was in Bye Bye Birdie. I did a couple of the musicals there, so no lead roles, but it was still really cool, and it kind of taught me that being in the background is just as essential. So, again, really cool learning lessons there.
It gives the performance structure.
Right, because really, I mean, none of the main characters would be able to do what they do without the cast, and then, of course, the background people, and so, I mean, it all works together.
So when you took drama class, did that tie into, choir at all or singing at all? Did that help at all?
Absolutely, because back before I really knew what anxiety was, I guess I've kind of always suffered from anxiety, just like socially. Mm-hmm. But that was before people really labeled what things were that we deal with in our minds. So back then I just thought I was weird. So drama really helped me, because when you sing, you're supposed to really never turn your back to the audience. You're supposed to stand, elongate your diaphragm and like your torso and all these different things. So drama class really helped with that, because it kind of gave you an outlet to be funny and silly, but also kept you from clamming up. And so then in turn, when I would sing, I would kind of bring out what I had learned in drama class, and the two would go together, and it worked out really well.
So that would help somebody a lot if, like you said, if somebody had anxiety or the major stage fright, which a lot of people go up there, they're like, I can do this. And they go up there and they just like,
Yeah. Yeah. And drama was out. It was really cool also, because a lot of kids in that awkward age, like preteen to high school, they kind of are the like, who am I type of person at that time in their life. And drama kind of gives you also an outlet to be a different character. Mm-hmm. So maybe if you don't know exactly who you are at the time, you can identify with a character that you're portraying, and sometimes come back around to finding little pieces of yourself. So, I mean, lots of things about drama classes are actually a lot deeper than people would think if you go into it with an open mind, of course.
Right.
So, yeah.
You can't go in there closed-minded.
Yeah, no. They will pull that out of you. They'll push you right out to the front.
So after high school, musically, it kind of took off a little more?
A little bit. I was born and raised in Lafayette. I've pretty much stayed around here for the most part, and I've gotten to jam with a lot of really talented people around town. Some have actually moved on to different things and better things, and some are still here. But I spent most of my late teen, young adult years just kind of getting to know different musicians around town and starting little projects here and there. Tried out for The Voice a couple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've tried out once online and twice, once in person, actually. I went to a third audition, but it was freezing, so I ended up bailing because I would have got pneumonia and it wouldn't have went well anyway.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
They wanted you to wait outside.
Yeah. I stood outside of a show for Seosin and Maylene down at the Emerson in Indianapolis. But we got there a little early, but we were like the first people in line. But we were outside for like 3 hours and it was like 20 degrees.
Oh, man.
By the end of that night, I was sick.
Yeah, we had like filtered through, if you know anything about Navy Pier in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I thought, it's Navy Pier. I didn't know how long it was.
So you got the wind off the lake. And
yeah.
That's a terrible place to stand in the cold.
Yeah, I would have my ride drop me off. My friend and I were both auditioning, and we took an Uber, and we were like, just drop us off at the front. And he's like, well, do you know where to go in Navy Pier? And I was like, it's Navy Pier. I didn't realize it was like a 4-mile thing.
Yeah, it's huge.
So I got dropped off at the front and looking around, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. This looks cool. 2 miles later, I'm like sweating and I'm starting to look terrible. So when we got back to where the registration was, they had us filter through, and what you see on TV for American Idol is no joke. There's just mass amounts of people.
Oh, yeah. So
then it got to a certain point where they were like, okay, now just follow these yellow arrows on the ground, and it led me to outside, and it kind of looked like Ice Age 4. And so when I get outside, I asked the lady, I said, are we really expected to stand out here? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, no, thank you. Like, I'm not, there's no way, because when I got to my audition, I wouldn't be able to give it my full 100%. And that to me is disrespectful to the producers. Like, you're wasting their time at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was like, you know what? Spent the night in Chicago, had some good pizza. I'm good.
There you go.
Let's head home. Waited for my friend to audition, then we left. Yeah.
Who was your friend?
Adam Garrett, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Adam.
Yeah, that was really fun. We actually got to go a night early and hang out with one of his friends, and it was pretty cool.
So you turned a negative into a positive.
Yeah. It's hard to have a bad time around Adam. He actually plays piano.
Yeah, I've seen his live sessions that he does on Facebook, and they're really good.
Did not know that.
Amazing.
Yeah. He's
from
quite talented.
too. He went to high school with us.
Yeah, he went to school with us.
I just always remember coming into choir, and he'd be playing Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On. And, I mean, nobody complained because it was beautiful. But after a while, I mean, he was like, okay, can somebody request a different song? Even now, if we'll hang out sometimes, I'll be like, hey, will you play that? And he's like, I guess. It's fine.
So do you ever do any jam sessions with anybody that you were in choir with, or?
Honestly, Adam is the only person I've, as an adult, gotten together with outside of high school.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's, we weren't really close friends in high school because I was super shy. But when we got into like our adult years, he and I had a lot of mutual friends. So we'd run into each other hanging out with different people. And then finally we decided to, Glee was kind of a big thing for us. We connected through Glee because we both really loved the show. So we realized that we harmonized really well together. And we both actually got hired down at this place called The Muse. It's not downtown anymore, but it was across from the courthouse.
I remember that one.
And they were doing a burlesque New Year's Eve show, and they hired us as vocalists.
Really?
So we rehearsed for a couple months in advance, and he and I worked really closely together, and it was really cool. We actually did the finale number. We did Don't Stop Believing together.
Oh, wow.
It was great. Yeah.
Was there a good turnout? Was there a lot of people there?
It was amazing. And what's cool is if people had the option to buy VIP tickets, and the way the stage was set up was like a long, like model type runway. So the VIP people were actually able to sit around the stage, whereas everybody else kind of had to sit out. It was like a really nice nightclub setting. So a lot of people actually sold out the VIP tickets. It was just packed.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, people were allowed to bring cash up and put it on the stage, respectfully while you're doing your performance. And the amount
not throwing it up there.
Yeah. The amount of money that I made just from singing and just enjoying myself and being around such good energy was just insane. So that in itself gave me more motivation to, I mean, really, I think it's all about what keeps you going to the next level. Mm-hmm. When you're in a small town and you're not doing much, you just got to feed your energy from one positive to the next. So that was really cool.
Makes
too.
sense.
Yeah.
And you've played with other, I would say, musicians that were in other bands at times before, like just jamming. And I know you've done some I mean, you've done some street performances too, right?
Yeah. One person that I used to jam with that was in another committed project, his name was Jonathan Beard. He was in a band called Drench. And he's just an insanely talented musician. He used to actually make like rap beats on his guitar by like,
Oh, really?
you know, popping the strings and kind of turning it into a drum and doing all this crazy stuff. And I would just flow over top of it just for fun. So I've definitely enjoyed jamming with him. And then Chuck Stevens and we used to go to the pedestrian bridge and play for people. And one time some people came up and tried to give us money and we were just like, what? We didn't expect that. We were just trying to, you know, enjoy ourselves, and played at the Java Roaster with him once or twice just for tips. Nothing crazy.
How was the Java Roaster? I never played there.
What was really
I know it's kind of small, but
it is really small. What a lot of people don't know is there's an upper floor. You can actually go up these stairs and eat or drink or whatever. And they have like checkers and lots of cool board games if you just want to go in and hang out with friends. What was really nice about them is they gave us a tip jar, but when they set us up outside, they went ahead and put $20 in it.
Oh,
and they
really?
were like, just in case you guys don't make anything based on, you know, not that it's you guys, but it might just be a bad night for people to come in. At least you made $20.
Huh.
And they were just really considerate. I'm pretty sure they offered us, you know, drinks or whatever too.
That's pretty cool.
And I think it was towards the end of summer, so it was a pretty good night. It was a decent turnout.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So you went on an intense musical heavy trip, am I right?
Yeah.
Maybe not intense and heavy, but it was a fun trip of music.
Definitely nothing heavy about that trip. It was all such good vibes. Probably the best time of my life to date.
And how'd that start?
Good friend of mine, Chuck Stevens, he and I met through actually working at a call center downtown, and we just happened to hit it off in the training. And long story short, we both found out we were musically inclined, and we started jamming together. And it was just the best musical chemistry I've ever had with anybody. It got to the point where we would meet up to hang out and jam, and we would just look at each other, and he would start playing the song that I would start singing. Like, we'd just know. And to be honest, one day we were just chilling, and he was like, you know, we should just kind of quit our jobs and quit our lives here and go do something crazy with music. And I was like, well, I've always wanted to go down to Panama City Beach, Florida. And he was like, let's do it. And that's like the spring break capital of the world. And so, I mean, literally, that's how it went. And so we ended up driving my Mercury Sable, the old trusty Sable, down there. And yeah, I mean, his mom and my mom were both like, they knew that we were free spirits. And so they were pretty much just like, well, keep minutes loaded on your phone and let us know how it's going. And I mean, it was just a crazy time.
How old were you guys at the time?
Oh, man. I want to say we were, I was 21 or no more than 22.
Okay, so you weren't like in high school.
Oh, no. That's illegal to let your kids do that. Yeah. No, we were definitely adults. And it was awesome. Honestly, I remember that was the first time I'd ever been to Florida. So part of it was selfish because I wanted to go see Florida, but I just figured it's a beautiful setting. Who wouldn't want to listen to people playing music on the beach?
Right.
And he took his acoustic, and that acoustic has seen a lot of cool places.
Oh, I bet.
And we got there, and I just always remember describing to people, because they were like, well, what did you think when you saw the ocean for the first time? And it looked like I was in a Google wallpaper. Just that beautiful, crisp, clear, you know, and so
it's like the perfect day.
Yeah, and we ended up parking at the first beach entrance we saw and just ran down to the beach, and there were like manta rays swimming around, and I just remember being like, this is like, still like, I can still remember, it was the best feeling ever, because we just took off to do something with music, and, you know. So we were down there for about, I want to say a month maybe, and met so many cool people, a couple people that I actually still speak to on a weekly basis.
Oh, really?
Friends that we made, and just the adventures that we got into down there. I mean, we slept in my car a few nights, slept on the beach a few nights, but some people that we met started, you know, being like, hey, we'll get you guys a room for the night, or you can come crash with us for the night, or play music for our beach party, and we'll pay for your Waffle House at 5 a.m. Like,
see, that's awesome, because you see movies like that do that. You're watching a movie, you're like, man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But then you start thinking, well, in reality, that probably wouldn't happen.
Right.
You know, people wouldn't be that nice and offer you, you know, room and board, and
you'd probably just get killed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're expecting the worst, and that didn't happen in your case.
Yeah, and it was crazy because when he and I together, we just had such a positive energy about us that I think people were drawn to us with like-minded energy. And so we didn't really attract the negative people that were out to kind of like use the poor people living out of their car. I mean, of course, my car ended up breaking down and that's kind of what caused it to be to where we had to get a ride home because my car broke down. But other than that, there really wasn't any negative that happened. I remember one day we walked about 2 miles. There's a big bridge that connects Panama City to Panama City Beach. And do not get it confused because one side is touristy and very, what you see on young girls' Instagram accounts. The other side is very scary. And I mean, there were people like making drugs in motels. I mean, it was crazy. And so this bridge separated both of those parts. And we walked it one day. Basically, it went from like one side of the Gulf to the other. And it was long. And I just remember walking down the road and this Taco Bell sign kept looking like a mirage. It kept getting further and further away. And we finally ended up walking past this indoor and outdoor garage sale place. And this woman and her daughter owned it. And they were like, saw the guitar on his back and they were like, do you guys play music? And I thought I was dreaming because really at that point we just wanted some ice water. We were so hot. And we were like, yes, we do. And she was like, how about we set you up at this picnic table with a tip sign and a tip jar, and they went into town and got us some Whopper Juniors and came back. And
what?
I mean, it was insane. And that's just, I mean, I could talk
Those
about
are the
this.
best.
I could go on. Like all the things that happened were crazy, just crazy. There was a family who got us a motel room for the night, and then their next door neighbors in the motel came up one day and we're like, hey, we're making ham sandwiches for our kids. You guys want some lunch? Like people just looking out for us constantly. And it was
awesome.
it was great. So
what do you remember any of the songs that you played?
Oh yeah. Probably my personal favorite is Chuck actually put together a Beatles medley that he had written by hand. I mean, of course they were Beatles songs, but he had put it together by hand and just blended them together flawlessly. And You Never Give Me Your Money by the Beatles and Golden Slumbers and Carry That Weight is what the songs were. And it was just the most beautifully written medley I'd ever heard. And people, that slowly became a favorite and people wanted to hear it all the time. That was probably a favorite that we did. We did She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5 and some Train, because back then Train had some decent songs that you could listen to without hating yourself. And song called Tired and Uninspired by a band called My American Heart, which is actually a really great band.
Oh, yeah.
If a lot of people haven't heard of them, which is really sad. He introduced me to that band, actually.
Yeah, they're really good.
And we did American Girl by Tom Petty. I mean, we did it. We had a set list compiled to where no matter who walked by, old or young, somebody would catch a song and be like, hey, okay. Yeah, it was great. We actually got to play a bar show down there too for an older woman's birthday. I think she had rented the bar out, but they ended up hooking us up and letting us play. And it was pretty great. I remember we played Freebird once and I vocally did the entire like musical solo part of the song with vocals. Like,
really?
You know how it goes on for like 9 minutes, and he just kind of looked at me like, are we really going to do this? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like just those eyeball conversations. And it turned out great. Couldn't do it again if you paid me probably, but it was nuts.
Vocally did the solo part
for Freebird.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't even know how I did it. I mean, it wasn't rehearsed.
That's unheard of.
Until today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's usually the best when they're unrehearsed and they work out great like that.
There was actually, I think the best memory, the most vivid memory I have of that trip is there was a woman, she had 1 or 2 kids with her, and we were playing on the boardwalk around sunset, and we were just really hot, and it was getting to the point where we were hungry, and we weren't really feeling grouchy, but we were just kind of getting to that point where most people want to go home and shower, but we didn't have that because we slept in my car.
Yeah. And
it was just getting to the point where it's like, what are we doing down here? What's the next thing we're going to do? And she was listening to us play a song. I think it was Oh Darling by the Beatles, actually. And I just remember she was so sweet and she was just watching us and just a very soft-spoken woman. And she came up to us after and she handed us $20. And she had told us about how she had saved and saved to take her kids on this vacation. And this was her last $20. And she was so moved by our music that she wanted to give it to us. And I just remember hugging her, and it was one of those really awesome, like warm, long hugs that you have with somebody where it's just such good vibes. And I just remember thanking her and, you know, making sure, like, is this something you really want to do? And she was so sure about it. And that just really touched me, because it goes to show if you're in the right place at the right time, just doing what your heart tells you to do, that you never know what could happen.
And for a complete stranger to get a vibe from a complete stranger like that.
Right.
I mean, you know, you probably felt like you knew that person forever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Met a lot of really cool people. A group of younger kids that were there for spring break used to meet between Ocean Towers and Burger King entrance to the ocean every night. And we just had an endless invitation to their parties. And I remember singing about 3 a.m., singing Forever Young at the top of our lungs down by the beach, all of us. And that's so cliche.
Yeah, that song's amazing.
But just imagine, just picture, you know, you're sitting by the Gulf of Mexico and the breeze is coming off the water and it just smells like endless vacation.
Right.
And you're sitting there with a bunch of cool people singing Forever Young at the top of your lungs. And it doesn't even sound musically correct at all, but it just is the most awesome feeling ever.
Yeah.
And maybe like a taco stand in the distance, I think I remember, but it's pretty great.
You gotta have tacos everywhere.
Tacos are amazing.
Tacos are life.
Yeah. Tacos are life.
And
Fajitas, actually. Fajitas
the
are
thing
life.
about memories like that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, memories with music, but that's something you're never going to forget.
Never.
You probably remember what the ocean smelled like when you first got there.
That's funny you say that, because Chuck and I were talking a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking about, like, I wonder if we'll ever do something like that again, like together or separate as people.
Right.
And we both pretty much had admitted that it was like one of the best feelings ever. And you can just kind of go back to those memories, like you said, and I can still smell what it smelled like there, and I can still hear, you know, everything. And I'm really grateful for that, because like you said, a lot of people just think that that's something you see in movies or read about in books. But what's really cool to remember, whether it's with music or just wanting to travel, is like, you know, birds fly everywhere. Why can't we?
Right.
And that sounds silly, because obviously we can't fly, like actually fly with our bodies, but why stay grounded, you know? Like there's a huge world.
I saw these jet packs these guys made in Dubai.
Oh.
So they were actually flying.
Well, then it actually, if you go ahead and listen to this guy, maybe you can. Maybe you can.
It was pretty sweet. They were right next to a Emirates airliner flying. So you could fly to Florida.
Yeah, you could, or anywhere for that matter.
You don't even need a personal jet.
Yeah.
Jetpack.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty turning Hallmark into comedy.
Sorry to
That's
shit
great.
on your moment, but
So you guys were down there for a month.
About a month, yeah.
On your way back, did you stop anywhere and play, or did you just head straight back?
Unfortunately, we both caught a case of bronchitis from sleeping on the beach and not really eating properly and just consuming a lot of alcohol.
who would have thought?
And so I called my mom.
It's healthy diet.
What's really sad is when my car had broken down, my mom caught wind of what was going on, and she piled my dad and my brother in the car, and they drove all through the night to get there, and they were like rat-a-tat-tat on the hotel room door, and I was like, crap, my mom's here in Florida. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah, and so she was basically like, hey, this is all sweet and cute, but you're coming home with us tomorrow. I was like, well, I'm not going to leave Chuck here. And she's like, you're coming home with us. And I was like, see, I'm actually not, because I'm not leaving him stranded. So that was the next day is when we played that bar show. And she came out, and my dad came out. And my dad's never been super supportive of any of my musical endeavors, really. But when he came out, it was actually a really good memory that I have of my dad, because I think he finally took me serious about what I was doing. Like, he thought I sounded decent enough to be taken seriously, which was really cool to see from my dad. But I just remember the next day they were like, you're really going to just not come home with us, even though we just spent all the money to come down here. And I was like, sorry, I'm just going to wait it out.
Right.
Week and a half later, bronchitis comes a knocking. So I call my mom, I need to come home.
Help.
So, yeah, she grabbed one of her good girlfriends, and they drove all through the day to come get us. So the ride home was very tense. It was very, get your butts in the car, we're going home. I think we split a can of Pringles. Maybe that's all we had to eat. It wasn't very, very great. So no, unfortunately.
Hey, Pringles are awesome.
They were sour cream and chive.
Yeah,
That's one of the best.
Sour cream and chive?
Or onion.
Sour cream and onion.
Why did I say chive? Well,
Probably
Those are a great Pringles flavor.
No. But so got out of trouble. Well, I mean, trouble, like pretty
Bronchitis
much stranded
trouble?
and bronchitis stranded.
Yeah.
You're in a bad spot, but you were having fun, but it got to the point where
I'm so sorry.
it's okay. You're in a bad spot, and you called mom. She came down and got you.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool.
It could have been. It could have been worse. She'd been like, no.
Yeah. Nope. See ya. No, it was cool. And then obviously when we got back, we kind of went our separate ways for a while because it was kind of like, okay, we're back to reality. We don't really want to be, because the way we looked at it is we wanted to take it from there and keep going. We wanted to go to Nashville. We wanted to go to, New Orleans, like different places.
Yeah.
And going home was not ever part of the plan. And I still accept, I know he's going to hear this and be like, it was your fault. It was my fault because I was like, we're sick. We've got to go home. Like, we can't just keep living like this. But I mean, honestly, everybody always asks me, like, the number one question about that is if you could go back and redo it, would you have gone home? And the answer is absolutely not.
Right.
I would have just found the nearest drugstore and got myself some cough medicine and just waited it out.
Yeah.
Because who knows what would have happened. But
if you just don't pay the medical bills, I mean...
True.
You can just go to the hospital.
Right.
They're going to treat you.
They have to.
And then you just leave.
Yeah. Deuces.
You're like Obamacare.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... True.
So I think we're gonna get into some questions. We've gotten a nice little background on you and
let's do it.
And what you've done to get where you are now a little bit. We just have a list of questions that we're gonna start off with. But,
okay.
What are your favorite bands, or your favorite musicians or bands?
Musical influences.
Yeah.
My heart musically is always with oldies and classic rock.
Oldies and classic
That's
rock.
where it's always going to be. And of course, some of the mainstream stuff I catch on to here and there, but honestly, I really love like Janis Joplin, Bob Dylan. I love the Beatles, just
the
older.
greats.
Oh yeah. Never going to top them.
Growing up, do you remember what the first album was that you listened to?
That really like caught my attention?
Yeah, that made you, that just like grabbed you and like, hey.
It was actually a Celine Dion album.
Celine Dion?
To be honest, I can't remember exactly which one it is. The one where it's like her face and like the rest of it's black and it's like a silhouette. It had My Heart Will Go On on it. Yeah. And I knew every word to that album front and back. And I used to tell my mom, one day I'm going to sing with Celine Dion. And she's like, okay, honey, you can do anything you want. But little did I know, she's actually really famous. Kind of hard to do. So, yeah.
See, because we kind of went through and we named our, first two albums. And so Celine Dion was your first one. What would be your second one, if you can remember?
Honestly, it's got to be NSYNC.
NSYNC?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it real. Just going to keep it real.
Yeah, I was there too. That wasn't my second album, but we got into it and, gave a little background, but that's where I went through a phase of that too.
Yeah.
I was that age when, young when they came out and when you're a kid, you're just like, this is awesome.
Impressionable, right?
Yeah, they're very impressionable.
Very much so. Justin Timberlake's hair looked like ramen for a long time, so how can you beat that? How can you beat that face?
Hey.
Bye, bye, bye.
I never got
Yeah, that was an awful Justin Timberlake.
I never owned one of their albums. So.
That's okay. I tried to end it with you, and it was equally as terrible, so I got you.
I'm gonna
keep
keep going that I never owned one of those albums. Never.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't.
He had Backstreet Boys then,
Yeah.
clearly.
Oh, yeah.
You were a Backstreet Boys fan?
You're a 98 Degrees fan. Loser!
You got me. What's your favorite song to perform?
Favorite song to perform is probably Welcome Home by Coheed and Cambria.
Really?
I get really... And when I sing out at karaoke, people start to hear that come on, and the metalheads are, like, going crazy, but then, like, right after they go crazy, their faces are just like, wait, what?
They're like, how?
You just sang some, Tanya Tucker, some country music. I don't know really very much about country, but yeah, it's very surprising to people, but I love doing it, and I get really into it.
Yeah. That's your
always
favorite one.
That's my absolute favorite.
I did not expect that, honestly.
I guess a close second would be Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin, but that's just another one that you can really get down to.
Right.
Different type of getting down than Coheed and Cambria. I'm always like, is it okay if we go a little hard for a second? And everybody's like, yeah.
And you do a lot of karaoke, don't you?
Yeah, I go to Champs quite often.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to, but I try to go out like once a month now.
So if anybody wanted to hear you sing, they could catch you at Champs.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. If the time's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do karaoke every day, don't they?
Every single day they do karaoke,
Yeah.
I believe.
That.
Yeah. And what's crazy is a lot of people think that Champs has a bad rep because back in the day it was like a motorcycle bar, but they actually added their own edition for karaoke. So
yeah, they have like their own room for it.
Yeah, and there's
they?
like these really cool like flaps that keep the air conditioning in. And when you go back there, there's a little sitting room where you can put your songs in actually online, like on a computer.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you go into the other room and they have, I mean, really cool low lighting, fans, or in the winter they have heaters. It's just really comfy.
Huh.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Cool. Pretty cool.
I mean, I knew they had a room, but I didn't know it was like that.
It's pretty. They put a lot of work into it, so I mean, it's been pretty cool. I actually almost ran karaoke there for a little while because I was going every night a few years ago.
Oh, really?
Which, yeah, that didn't end up working out. But a lot of the KJs there are really cool, good people. Yeah.
Huh. Do you ever write anything of your own? I mean, I know you do. I know you sing a lot of covers, but
yeah.
I mean, have you ever tried writing anything on your own? Or
actually, Chuck and I wrote an original together, and it's the only original that I've actually ever written with another person. That's so that turned out pretty well. And I want to say, as I'm getting older, my brain's actually getting worse. So I want to say I've written some originals, and that's a terrible thing to say. I want to say I've written some originals before back in the day, but of course I don't really remember them. So. And then my boyfriend, Ben, he and I actually wrote a song together when we lived in Florida a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he wrote this beautiful guitar instrumental and asked if I wanted to do lyrics for it, and turned out pretty well. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, and America too. She's a good girl, crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and a boyfriend too, yeah. It's a long day, living in Reseda. There's a freeway running through the yard, and I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart, and I'm free. I'm free falling. Yeah, I'm free. I'm free falling. All the vampires, they're walking through the valley. They move west down Ventura Boulevard, and all the bad boys are standing in the shadows, and the good girls, they're home with broken hearts. Now I'm free. I'm free falling, falling, and I'm free. I'm free falling. I wanna glide down over Mulholland. I wanna write her name in the sky. I wanna free fall out into nothing. Oh, I'm gonna leave this world for a while, and I'm free. Free falling, falling, and I'm free. I'm free falling, free falling.
Well, that was fun. Free falling.
Yep. Yep.
By Tom Petty. A little bit of John Mayer mesh in there too.
Right.
It's always a good song.
Yep. Great song.
Well, I think we're about getting to the end here, and I just really want to say thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing your stories with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a good time.
No problem. If anybody, because I know you know, sometimes you put up occasional videos on Twitter, and sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
If anybody wants to see them, where can they follow you?
My Twitter is gynecologist, or @gynecologist, and my Instagram is the same.
There you go.
Yeah, and our Twitter is all AM podcast. And then our Gmail account is aampodcast@gmail.com.
And you can find us on Facebook.
And Facebook.
All Around Music.
Yes.
We got a Facebook page. We if you can't find anything on iTunes, which we are on iTunes now, Google Play.
Yes.
If you can't find it on there, we usually share it on our Facebook page, Twitter as well. So
yes,
if you're having trouble finding it, just you can find it there.
Yes.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.